All right, let's talk about a huge change happening in the Philippines, one that's going to affect every single person who owns property. It's called the Real Property Valuation and Assessment Reform Act. And believe me, it's about to completely change the game for how your property's value is calculated. And it all starts with a question I bet you've asked yourself. I mean, come on, if you're a property owner, you've been there, right? You get that tax bill, you glance over at your neighbor's place, and you just can't make the numbers make sense. Well, that confusion, that feeling that things might not be quite fair, that is exactly what this new law is designed to fix. So, what was so broken about the old way? Well, honestly, it was kind of a mess. For decades, every town and city had its own way of doing things. It created this patchwork system that was inconsistent, often super outdated, and just way too complicated. The new way is all about flipping that script. It's built on three key ideas: making it standardized, basing it on the real market, and making the whole thing transparent. So let's dive into the big why. Why go through all this trouble? Well, the goal here isn't just to tweak a few numbers on a tax bill. It's about building a system from the ground up that is, and this is straight from the law itself, just, equitable, and consistent across the entire nation. And when you look at the goals, you see it's about so much more than just taxes. We're talking about empowering our local government units, our LGUs, so they can become more self-sufficient. By having a fair and standard way to value property, they can actually collect the revenue they need to fund the services we all rely on, all while creating a modern, digital, and transparent system that's up to par with the rest of the world. So how do you fix a system that's all over the place? It's simple, really. You create one clear, single standard that everyone has to follow. And the entire reform is built on one core concept: market value. This right here, this is the new foundation for everything: market value. It's such a simple but powerful idea. Basically, what would your property actually sell for if you put it on the market today? From now on, that's the single number used as the basis for property taxes everywhere in the country. No more local guesswork, no more different interpretations, just one standard. And you know, this isn't just some standard they pulled out of a hat. The law is very clear. All valuations have to follow what's called the Philippine Valuation Standards, or PVS. These are professional guidelines based on what works best around the world. It ensures the whole process is done professionally, consistently, and most importantly, that it's credible. Okay, a new standard is great in theory, but how does it actually play out in the real world? This next part is all about the nuts and bolts, the new process, and who's now in charge of making it all happen. So, meet the new agency in the driver's seat, the Bureau of Local Government Finance, or BLGF. Under this new law, their job gets a whole lot bigger. They're now the main agency in charge of the entire valuation system, from developing the standards to making sure every single LGU is on the same page. And the process itself now has a ton of checks and balances. Your local assessor still does the initial work of preparing the Schedule of Market Values, or SMV, but now it doesn't stop there. It has to go through public hearings where you can have your say, then it gets reviewed by the BLGF, and finally it has to get the stamp of approval from the Secretary of Finance. It's a multi-step process designed to be fair and accurate. And get this. Look at who's actually setting the standards. It's not just one government group working in a bubble. The law creates this central consultative committee, and it brings everyone to the table. You've got key government agencies like the BIR and DNR, but you also have experts from the private appraisal and real estate sectors. This mix ensures that the standards are realistic and grounded in what's actually happening in the market. Okay, we've covered the why and the how. Now for the part I know you've been waiting for. What does all of this actually mean for you, your property, and your wallet? This is the million-peso question, isn't it? If valuations are now based on today's market, does that mean everyone's taxes are about to shoot through the roof? Well, the people who wrote this law thought about that, and they built in some really important protections. So what's the big protection against a sudden tax spike? It's this number: 6%. To prevent sticker shock for homeowners, the law has a critical safety net. In the very first year that the new values are used, your property tax bill can't go up by more than 6% of what you paid the year before. It's a cap designed to make the transition gradual. But wait, there's more. And this part is a game changer for a lot of people. The law also offers a massive tax amnesty. This means that for anyone who has fallen behind on their property taxes, all those crushing penalties, surcharges, and interest payments can be completely wiped away. Now, here's the catch. There's a deadline. Property owners have just 2 years from when the law takes effect to apply for this amnesty. It is a critical, limited time window to settle what you owe on the principal tax and get a totally clean slate. Of course, it's really important to know who doesn't qualify. The amnesty won't apply if your property has already been sold at a public auction, if you've already entered into a compromise agreement to pay, or if there's an ongoing court case about your unpaid taxes. Okay, let's zoom out one last time and look at the long-term vision here. This whole reform isn't just a quick patch-up job. It's about building a modern, transparent, and stable foundation for the future of real estate and local government in the Philippines. I mean, the end goals here are pretty transformative. We're talking about LGUs that are financially independent, a single electronic database for all property sales, which is huge for transparency, and automated systems to make everything run smoother. All of this is designed to build way more trust and confidence in the entire real estate market for everyone. And finally, here's the key part that makes sure we don't end up right back where we started. This is not a one-and-done fix. The law actually requires a full update of all property values across the country within 2 years, and then a review and revision every 3 years after that. This keeps the system from ever getting outdated again. So we end on this big question. This entire massive reform is built on one core belief, that a single, fair, and transparent standard for how we value property can lead to a more equitable system for all of us. The hope is that by tying value to the real market, everyone pays their fair share, no more and no less. Only time will tell how it all plays out, but it's for sure a monumental step in that direction.